What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. It's 11:47. 11:47 in the morning. I'm on my way to Orlando, Florida. Ride over to Orlando. I'm in Tampa right now. It's about a 2-hour ride. But I want to talk about what I did in order to make a comeback and change my life after suffering a catastrophic setback, after creating myself, manufacturing and creating a horrible experience in my life. Failure, defeat, whatever you want to call it, setback, self-manufactured adversity. I crashed and burned, right? But this is what I learned. I'm born 1969. I'm 55 years old. I know I look good for my age. I know I don't look my age. And that's because I take care of myself. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. I exercise 7 days a week. I eat clean. I go to sleep early. And I get up early. And I eat good food. But what I learned at the age of 42, 43 years old, I lost over $1 million net worth, my real estate company, 9 rental properties that brought me in $7,200 a month. I had a financial consulting business that brought me in about $330,000 a year. I was a real estate broker, licensed real estate broker. And all of this is in the state of New Jersey, North Jersey. And I destroyed all of that, right? My fault, because I got greedy. Greed is one of the top reasons most men and women it's one of the fundamental causes of defeat, right? If you read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, or you read just about any book on strategy and warfare, and they'll all mention at some point that greed is a fundamental cause of defeat. And that's precisely what happened to me. I got greedy. I was making money, I was making legitimate money, but I wanted to make more money. It wasn't enough, and I wanted to make it fast. But what I learned in that whole experience, and I went to federal prison, got indicted, pled guilty, got indicted on 28 counts of aiding and abetting in the preparation of fraudulent tax returns. Pled guilty, didn't cooperate, didn't rat, didn't sign a 5K1, didn't sign a safety valve, didn't sign no proffer agreement, didn't sign no Rule 35B. I did that to myself, and I wasn't gonna fuck no one else's life up because of a bad decision that I made to try to save myself. I wasn't gonna do that. You know, I still believe, integrity is still in style. Manhood is still in style. Never went out of style. And for me, my experience, I needed to crash and burn in order to get right. I needed to crash and burn in order to get right. And some of y'all are going to say, yeah, but you don't necessarily need to crash and burn in order to get right. That may be your story. That may be your perspective. That may be your position, and it very well may be true for you. But for me, I'm talking about me. I don't want to talk about nobody else. For me, that was one of the best things that could have happened to me, man. Next to me getting clean from drugs and alcohol. I've been clean from drugs and alcohol for 34 years. I don't drink. I don't get high. And the birth of my son, Little Sean, shout out Little Sean, I love you. Going to federal prison is right up there with one of the most spiritual experiences of my life. Because in there, I really, really learned who I was. I really learned who I was. And I really examined my life. I really took a close look at me and asked myself, what am I doing to myself? I said, Sean, what are you doing to yourself? Something is not right. If you 45 years old and you sitting up in federal prison and you left a 3-year-old son out there on the street, something is wrong with you. And I was dead honest with myself, man. I was dead honest with myself. And I didn't cut myself no slack. I told myself the truth. I told myself the truth. And that was one of the first things I had to do, man, was embrace self-honesty, right? If you want to make a comeback from wherever you at, however far you fallen, whatever you going through, you gotta embrace and implement self-honesty in your life. And you have to tell yourself the exact nature, the exact truth about what you're doing, your performance and everything. Your shortcomings, your character defects, you know. And once I did that, then my next step was to acknowledge those things, admit it, acknowledge it, and then take corrective action. And then take corrective action to get rid of those defects. And in taking corrective action, I had to understand that I needed to be patient. Whereas before in my life, I never was, because I don't like to wait on nothing. I want immediate results. I don't want to wait on nothing. I want everything yesterday. But rushing and speeding ran me right into a brick wall. So I understood that I needed to be patient with myself and that I wasn't going to make all of these changes overnight. And I had all the time in the world. I did 15 months, 15 days, and 19 hours in federal prison. So I had the time to sit and reflect. And that's what I did. And then I got myself on a physical fitness program to get my spiritual, mental, and physical game in order. Because your physical fitness is a spiritual program as well, and mental. Exercising your body in the physical sense is a spiritual and mental exercise as well. I got myself on a physical fitness program. I got disciplined and I started respecting sleep and the importance of sleep. And that sleep is the natural healing process. It's the natural restoration process. It is very necessary. And when I don't get my sleep, my body doesn't function as well. right? I'm intolerant. I'm impatient. I'm lazy. I got a bad attitude. I'm in a bad mood. And not good. So I always make sure that excuse me, I respect sleep. It's super important. And I went back while I was in the joint. I went back and I looked at my childhood, man. I looked at my childhood. Something that I was always afraid to do. All the things that happened to me, around me, and that I saw in my childhood that affected my self-esteem, that affected my self-perception, that obliterated my confidence, that erased my self-love, that nurtured self-hatred, that grew self-rejection. I went and I had to look at all of those things, man. And I was afraid to, as I had been my whole life, which is why I ran to drugs, which is why I ran to alcohol, which is why I tried to escape, trying to be somebody that I wasn't, because I didn't like my truth. So I ran from my truth. But while I was in the joint, I told myself I wasn't gonna run no more. I told myself I wasn't gonna run no more. And look at this, y'all. I'm on my way to Orlando. Look at this, man. Look at this. Down here in Florida. That instead of running from myself, I was gonna run toward myself. And I looked at it like this, and this is a true story. This was an analogy. And if you buy my books, go on my website and buy my books. I wrote 3 books. I wrote them myself. I published them myself. I own the rights to them. The books are called Astigmatism in My Soul. There had to be a war, a fight to the death between 2 people. The first person was that shaky, insecure little boy that was inside of me, that grew out of my childhood traumas, that had bullied me my whole life. And the second person was this new nigga that I was gonna become. This new nigga that I was building. And the new nigga was scared to death to go confront the old school nigga. But I made him go, and I made him fight, because he had ran from the old school nigga his whole life, trying to be somebody that he wasn't. But I made him go. I said, nigga, you gonna go fight this nigga. And I said, you got to kill him, Sean. You got to get rid of him. It's got to be a fight to the death. You just can't beat him up. You have to get him out of your life. And that's what I did. And that's how I made my comeback. That's how I made my comeback. And today, you know, I got out of prison at 46. So I've been out the joint 9 years. And my life has been better than it's ever been. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. I'm in the best peace of mind that I've been in my whole life, spiritually, mentally, physically. And, you know, I got a dope life, and that's all I want. Go follow me on my Instagram too. The Instagram channel is The Podcast with Soul. Peace.